So when you started skating, you progressed and learned tricks fast, but then something changed. You stopped progressing. You're now stuck with a bag of half-learned tricks, and learning something new, unlikely. You think you're getting old, and maybe you are getting old. That's totally all right, because what I'm gonna go over in this video is gonna apply to anyone of any age. I'm gonna go over one simple solution to get you learning tricks fast and progressing again. And this is something that literally every single one of you has done at some point in your life. So let's get it. So when you're completely new to skating and you're learning your first tricks, you can't really do much. There aren't really many obstacles you can skate. You can't skate the rail, you can't skate the ledges, you can't skate this thing over here. You pretty much can't do anything at all other than just skate a little bit of flat where you would just like practice how to ollie. And you essentially just are forced to put all of your energy into one trick until you figure out that ollie. You try and try and try over and over again, unless you're not worthy of the holy wooden plank, and then you quit and you get out of skating for good. But for the people that keep trying, the only real way that you can learn tricks in the beginning is by battling them. So that mindset of battling tricks continues for a while, and you build a solid sack of radical maneuvers. But it's exactly now, when you actually get better, that things start to change for many skaters. So fast forward to the present day, and your sack is still the exact same as it was when you were 15, although a bit more hideous due to the passage of time. But what changed? Why did you stop learning tricks? Why did you not evolve the sack? Well, granted, it's pretty complex, but there's one big reason that a lot of us cope with a nice little sprinkling of delusion. You lost that battle mindset. When you were younger, you were battling tricks, and now you're just not doing that. You're trying one trick, a little bit here, a little bit there, maybe 10 tries every week or 2 weeks, but you're not putting in that time to really battle the trick. And this is where that delusion comes in as well, because when you look back at the last month or the last 2 months, you feel like you kind of tried it a lot because you did do it kind of frequently across time. But in terms of the total attempts that you actually put in that period of time, it was absolutely nothing in comparison to when you were learning the ollie. You were putting in like thousands of attempts to figure out the ollie. But relative to that, what you tried in the last couple of months was absolutely nothing. And the worst part of all of this is that you then develop a fixed mindset, which is essentially a belief that you can't get better, that you can't learn tricks, that you're stuck with what you've got and there's nothing you can do about it. And as a result, you end up trying even less. On the other hand, when you started out, you had a growth mindset, which was a belief that you could get better with effort. That if you tried 1,000 times on that ollie, you were gonna make it. And this drove you to then put in more effort. And it's exactly this, that growth mindset, that you've got to get back. So we do the same thing for those half-learned tricks as well, those ones that we can sometimes do but just don't really have on lock. Maybe one session you'll go and try them a little bit and you feel like you're figuring them out, so it feels good. You're like, yes, I'm making progress. But then the next session you go and all that progress seems to have just disappeared. You can't do the trick at all, and maybe you just then give up in that session. And because you don't actually battle this trick on a regular basis, but you randomly just go through that process of trying it a little bit here and there, you end up over time believing that you just can't get better at that trick. You start telling yourself things like, yeah, this trick just doesn't work for me, or sometimes I can do it, sometimes I can't. For me, one of these tricks was front feebles. For the last 15 years, I've kind of half been able to do the trick, just kiss the rail style. Occasionally I'd get them a little bit better, but I'd never fully understand the trick and I'd never be able to hold it. So I ended up just telling myself that I can't do this trick, that I'll just never really get better at it. But the truth is, I just never really put in the time to actually battle the trick like I had done with other tricks until a few weeks ago. So for the first time in my life, I actually started battling front feebles. Every time I went and skated at my local DIY, I would put in the time to just session front feebles, to really just drill them over and over and over again. And you won't fucking believe it, but I'm actually starting to figure it out. It seems like the formula never changed. It seems like the way to learn tricks is legit just exactly the same as it was back in the days. Just battling tricks, just putting in the time, making the effort and really doing it on a consistent basis over a long period of time. So how was the process? Well, the same as it always has been and the same as it always will be. Certain days I felt like I was making progress, followed by days of just sucking, bailing every single one, and just that roller coaster of ups and downs, feeling like you're figuring it out, feeling like you're completely losing it. But little by little, the lands just then became more and more frequent. So if you're stuck thinking that you can't learn, I want to ask you, when did you last battle a trick every session for weeks on end? If you can't say that you've done that recently, then the problem is actually your lack of consistent effort, not the fact that you can't learn, not the fact that you can't figure out that specific trick. It's just a lack of effort. Now look, I fully get it. Going out and bailing tricks for just days on end sucks. No one really wants to do that, but it is what you have to do if you want to figure out that trick. And know this as well, that every single one of those bails is teaching you how to not do the trick, ultimately narrowing down the right way to do it until you figure it out. So as long as you stay consistent, just know that you're on the right path and try and develop that growth mindset to believe in the effort that you're doing. That's going to take you such a long way. If you can just believe that even if you haven't landed the trick, that effort is taking you where you want to go, you'll figure out the trick eventually. Now, all that being said, there are still many other methods we can use to learn tricks faster and increase the chances of all of our efforts actually paying off. So if you want to learn more about these methods, I'm going to be taking a small group of skaters through a program where we're going to be developing exactly these skills, along with training, nutrition habits, and basically everything you need to just feel as good as you possibly could on and off your board. So signups are going to close on May 29th, 2024. I'll put a link down in the description below where you can find out more information and sign up. And if you're watching this video after that date, then no worries, I've got other programs up on the website that you can check out too. So links for all of that down in the description below. So we're going to finish this video off with a little battle challenge, all right? So I want you to pick a trick that you want to learn, or one that you've kind of just half learned, and battle it. So at least 20 minutes every single time that you go skate for the next month, you need to work on that trick. Don't stress if you don't land it in the first day or the first week. Just stay consistent, and guaranteed by the end of the month, you're gonna have noticed some improvements. And a little bonus banger challenge as well. Let's say if you've picked a trick on an obstacle like front feebles on a rail, you can also choose a flat trick to just do every now and then. Maybe if you're rolling back from the front feeble attempts, or if you're just trying other tricks around at the park or around at the spot, you can try that trick whenever you feel like it in between those other attempts of other tricks. And let me know down in the comment section what are some of the biggest challenges that you face when it comes down to learning new tricks, and some of the things that you found to help the most. I read all the comments and I love to get your feedback on this stuff, so drop a comment down there. And that's it for this one. Peace.